Hello class 10. Let us continue with our chapter. Last video I have told about the efforts of the government, British government to spread and develop the education in India. Regarding this, we have learnt about the Anglicist Orientalist controversy. We have discussed about the Macules minute and the downward infiltration theory, and we have started the efforts of the individuals, both Indians and the Europeans. Now in Indians, there I have already discussed about the role of Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar in the spread of education, especially the education of the girls. His efforts in the development of education amongst the girls, that was his greatest achievement, and his social reform, which actually resulted in the in the passing of the Act of Widow Remarriage in the year 1856. Now today we are going to learn about Raja Ram Mohan Roy and his role in the social reform as well as the educational reforms. Now Raja Ram Mohan Roy is regarded as the father of the modern India and pioneer of the modern India. He is given the title as Bharat Pathik by Rabindranath Tagore for his efforts and his contributions towards the social and educational reforms as well as religious reforms. He was against all kinds of social evils prevailing during the society, Indian society, like parda system, dowry system, polygamy, child marriage. But the biggest achievement of Raja Ram Mohan Roy was the banning of the practice of sati. Sati, the evil custom, was that the widow of a dead person was to be burnt alive along with the pyre of the husband. So that evil custom, that inhuman custom, aggrieved Raja Ram Mohan Roy in such an extent that he had started a campaign against it. He had written the essays, editorials, letters. He had sent petitions to the British government for the banning of this evil custom, and ultimately his efforts were successful when in 1829 Lord William Bentinck had passed the law banning the practice of sati, and that was his social reform movement. In order to spread the enlightenment against the social evils, he had set up an organization that was the Brahmo Sabha. First it was known as Atmiya Sabha in 1815. Later on it was turned into Brahmo Sabha and ultimately Brahmo Samaj. Now this organization had vigorously protested and continued its campaign against the social evils. And the efforts of the Brahmo movement we will learn afterwards. But practice of sati was banned actually due to the efforts of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He had gone to England and presented the petition in front of Queen Victoria for the banning of this evil custom, and it was due to his efforts that this evil custom was ultimately stopped. Now Raja Ram Mohan Roy had played an important role in the spread of Western education. He was in favor of the Western education, and he had established or founded an Anglo school in Calcutta with his own efforts. Also, he had supported the foundation of the Hindu college and Calcutta School Book Society in the year 1817. Hindu College, which later came to be known as Presidency College, and presently it is known as the Presidency University. Uh, he also helped and encouraged the Europeans like David Hare. He had encouraged to found the Potoldanga Academy, which is presently known as the Hare School. He had invited the Scottish missionary Alexander Duff, who had come over here in Calcutta, and he helped Alexander Duff to establish an institute which was known as General Assembly's Institution. Right now it is known as the Scottish Church College. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he had been pursuing this development of Western education in India, and he had helped in the spread of Western education in India. He was one of the pillars of the spread of Western education in India. Now, his social reforms also includes the women's emancipation, apart from sati and child marriage, as well as polygamy and parda system, dowry system. He had emphasized on the women's right in their father's property. So all these things, if the question comes as the role of Raja Ram Mohan Roy in social and educational reforms, you will have to write everything under each separate heading: social reforms and educational reforms. In this way you will be writing the answer. The notes have already been given. Now next we come across the name, that is Radhakanto Dev. Radhakanto Dev was the member of the Shobha Bajar Rajbari. Shobha Bajar Rajbari, where we still they have the custom of celebrating the Durga Puja. Now Shobha Bajar Rajbari, Radhakanto Dev, he was a member of the Council of the Hindu College, and he had always supported and for the introduction of new techniques and methods in the in Hindu College. And then he had provided aids to the students who wanted to pursue the higher studies, helped them financially, and he had wrote essays on scientific agricultural system, for which he had been applauded a great. Then he encouraged the women's education, and he had been one of the patrons of the establishment of Metropolitan College, which was the first Indian college run by the Indians only, fully run by the Indians only, Metropolitan College. And now we come across David Hare. David Hare, he had come to India as a businessman in order to do business, but he felt the urge to develop and spread education amongst the Indians, and for that reason he was helped by Raja Ram Mohan Roy in a great way. He was one of the pillars for the foundations of the Hindu College in 1817, and also he was the founder of the Calcutta School Book Society, which was also formed in 1817. And David Hare, he had opened a school known as Potoldanga Academy, which is presently known as Hare School. Now he had expended his own money, his own expense, his own money for the development of education in India. So David Hare's contribution is also very important. Next, we come across the name Drinkwater Bethune. Now, Bethune had been a member of the Educational Council in Governor General's Educational Council, and he had been also responsible for the establishment of many schools. Now, he was helped and encouraged by Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar in 1849. With Vidyasagar's backing and encouragement, he had opened or started the Bethune School for Girls, which was the and then later on which turned into Bethune School and College for Girls, which was the first women's college in entire Asia. So Drinkwater Bethune, he had encouraged the girls' education. He had arranged for the carriages for bringing and taking them back to home for educational purpose, bringing them to school and then taking them back to home after the school hours. So Bethune's efforts cannot be denied, and David Hare, these two Europeans. Apart from these, the Sirampur missionaries, they also played a very important role in the spread of education in India. We have learnt about the Sirampur trio, William Carey, William Ward, and Joshua Marshman. Together they have formed the Sirampur missionary, and they had published books from Sirampur Missionaries Press for the development of education. And William Carey was also responsible for the banning of sati. They were the first to start the protest against the sati system. So these were the educational reforms pursued by the individuals apart from the British government in India.